You have probably bought like 3 or 4 AI tools this year, maybe even more. Chatbot here, an automation there, a couple of subscriptions you forgot you're paying for. So let me ask you something, honestly. Does your business actually run better than it did a year ago? Because for most people I talk to, the answer is no. And here is the part that matters. That is not your fault. You are not behind because you didn't buy enough tools. You are stuck because more tools were never going to fix the real problem in the first place. So in the next few minutes, I want to give you a completely different way to think about AI. Not more tools, but a layer. Think of it this way. Tools are like individual appliances. A fridge, like an oven, a washing machine. And the operating layer is the wiring and the plumbing behind the wall that actually makes the house work. You can own every appliance on the market and still have a house that does not function if nothing is connected. Or even worse, having everything connected in the wrong way and having the house burn down. So by the end of this, you'll know exactly why your AI spending hasn't paid off and what to build instead so it actually starts compounding. Some quick context on where I'm coming from. I'm not here to review AI tools. There's 1,000 channels doing that, and to be honest, the tool isn't the interesting part here. I come at this as an operator, someone who installs AI into how businesses actually work day to day. That's sales, onboarding, delivery, reporting, and the stuff that either makes you money or quietly leaks it. And the single most common pattern I see is this. A business treats AI like a shopping list. Because there's a new tool every week, there's updates every day, so they just keep adding them. And the logic feels right because more capability, more automations equals more leverage. But it doesn't play out that way. So here's the thing nobody selling you software wants to say out loud. AI does not fix a messy business. It amplifies it. If your sales process is inconsistent, AI just helps you be inconsistent faster. If nobody actually owns your client onboarding, an AI tool bolted onto it does not create ownership, but it adds one more place where things fall through the cracks. So you have to stop thinking about AI as a magic solution. AI is like leverage, and like in finance, leverage works in both directions. It's an amplifier, wired into your operations. So you turn up the volume on a clean signal and the music gets louder. But if you turn up on static, then you're just gonna get louder static. So point it at the clean system and it compounds. Point it at chaos and it multiplies chaos. This is exactly why the results out in the real world are so underwhelming. An MIT report this year, the GenAI divide, covered by Fortune in 2025, found that around 95% of company AI pilots delivered no measurable returns. 95%. And the interesting part isn't the failure, but it's the reason. The small group that actually got value were not using better tools. They had integrated AI into a real workflow instead of bolting a tool onto the side of the business. And that's the whole game right there. Integrated versus bolted on. Tools sit on the side and a system runs through the middle. So let me give you a mental model I use. It's 4 levels, and almost everyone watching this is probably stuck on the first one. Level 1 is the tool. ChatGPT. Open in a tab, you ask it things, it helps, but it lives in your head, in your habits, and your computer. So the moment you're busy or out sick, it stops happening. There is no reliability. Level 2 is the workflow. Now you have taken one repeatable job, say for example drafting a reply onto an inbound lead, and you have built a defined, repeatable way to do it with AI in the loop. Same input, same quality, every time. This is a big job because now it does not depend on you remembering. Then there's level 3, which is the system. Several connected workflows that share information and hand off to each other. Your lead intake fits your CRM, which fits your onboarding, which fits your reporting. Nothing gets retyped 5 times, and nothing gets dropped between the steps. And finally, we have level 4, which is the operating layer. This is when AI isn't a feature in one corner of the business. It's a layer that runs across the whole thing. Sales, operations, delivery, finance, leadership. One connected layer where work just flows. Information stays in one place and the people running the business can actually see what's happening. That's what we call an AI operating system, or AIOS for short. And it's not just a tool, but it's a layer that tools plug into. So tools, workflow, system, and operating layer. The reason your AI spend hasn't paid off is almost certainly that you have been collecting more level 1 tools and expecting level 4 results. So let me make this concrete, because it's very easy to nod along and still not see it in yourself. I'll describe a setup I see constantly. A company is running ChatGPT for writing, Zapier for automations, Slack for communication, Notion for docs, and HubSpot for their CRM. On paper, that is a very serious stack. That's more software than plenty of companies twice their size. But look at how it actually behaves. A lead comes in through a form that lands on an email, and then someone copies it into a HubSpot by hand, sometimes. Then they paste the details into ChatGPT to write a reply, copy that back into an email, then a note about the call goes into Notion, but the action items get mentioned in Slack and then scrolled away forever. The Zapier automation that was supposed to tie it together broke 2 months ago, nobody noticed, and the guy that made it in the first place is not even the company anymore. So every single tool there is perfect. The problem isn't the tools. The problem is there is no layer connecting them, so the humans are the integration. It's like 5 workstations on a factory floor with no conveyor belt between them. Every part gets carried by hand from one station to the next, and things just get dropped in the gaps. So the team is the glue, copying, pasting, retyping, chasing each other in Slack. And that's not an AI problem, that's an operations problem wearing a technology costume. And buying a 6th tool makes it even worse, because now there's one more thing to keep in sync by hand. So there's very good evidence for how expensive this actually is. McKinsey put a number on it years ago in their work on the social economy. Knowledge workers lose about 1/5 of their week just hunting down for information that should already be at their fingertips. 1/5 of the week. That cost doesn't show up on an invoice, so it's very easy to ignore, but it's real money walking out the door every single day. So what do companies that get value actually do differently? Well, they start with the workflow, not the tool. They pick one place where work repeats itself and mistakes are very expensive. For example, lead intake is a great first one. And they redesign how that work flows before they start automating. The tool is the last decision, not the first. This isn't just my opinion, by the way. McKinsey's 2025 State of the AI report found that nearly 8 in 10 companies now use AI, but only about 6% are getting real bottom line value from it. And the biggest thing separating the winners wasn't the model or the platform they chose. It was that they had fundamentally redesigned the actual workflow around the AI. They changed how the work happens. The tool was incidental. So, the differentiator is redesigning the workflow, not picking the tool. Almost everyone is optimizing the one thing that barely matters. So, here's a few traps to watch out for, because I see very smart people fall into them all the time. First of all, do not automate chaos. If a process is broken when a human does it, automating it just produces broken outcomes faster and at scale. So first, fix the flow and then add the AI. Second, do not confuse activity with leverage. Generating 100 AI social posts feels very productive, but it usually isn't moving the business. Ask whether the work actually repeats and whether mistakes there cost you money. That's where AI earns its keep. Third, stop buying on FOMO. A new tool you saw on your feed this morning is not a strategy. The question is never, is this tool cool? It's, does this fit into a workflow I've actually designed? Now, before you go and try to do all of this in your head, I made something to keep you out of trouble. It's a one-page audit. It's 10 quick checks to run before you buy your next AI tool. It basically forces you to answer, is this a tool or is this part of a system, before you actually spend $1. I put it inside this free school community so you can pressure test your next AI decision before you spend money on building the wrong automations. Links in the description, so just go ahead and grab it. It's free. And look, if you go through that and you realize that the honest answer is my operations are messier than I thought, and I do not want to spend the next year wiring this together myself, that's exactly what Broker Studio is built for. The idea is to install an AI operating layer into your entire business in phases across sales, onboarding, delivery, and reporting, so it's one connected system instead of a pile of tools. No pressure, the free resources will generally get you a long way on your own, but if you'd rather have it built for you, there's the door. So here's the one thing I want you to walk away with. AI does not fix your business. It compounds wherever is already there, which means the goal was never more tools, but it was a cleaner system for AI to run through. Build the layer, not the pile. Start with the one workflow that actually matters, get it right, and let it compound from there. If this changed how you think about AI even a little bit, the video on why most AI automations fail is the natural next step. So I'll see you in that one, and thanks for watching.